In May 2024, a New York judge sentenced Dexter Taylor to 10 years in prison for gunsmithing in the privacy of his own home. Dexter ordered the parts legally to his home address using his credit card. He never fired any of the firearms. He didn't talk about them online. This was a hobby. Dexter has zero criminal record. He is a great father, a loving son, a true friend, an attentive neighbor, a podcaster, a philosopher, and an engineer. Dexter created a movement called Foundationism, which has brought people together from all over the world. In 2021, he recorded a 10-part series explaining the 10 precepts of Foundationism, which are: see deeply, listen closely, reason honestly, speak clearly, act bravely, deny the self, defend the individual, respect tradition, face the present, cultivate the future. Listen to Dexter and decide for yourself if this excellent man should be in prison for a victimless crime.
Yeah, I think it leads on to my last question, which is, what could be some of the effects of not looking into things deeply?
I think the most important effect is that you are effectively blind to almost everything. You could argue that facts are like icebergs, right? Most of their mass is below the surface. So if you are blind to what's below the surface because you refuse to look below the surface, then you're blind to almost everything. What it means is that you can see almost nothing.
Yeah.
That's what that means. I mean, if you think about how much human history there is versus the narrow slice of time we live in right now, then most of reality is in history, if you think about it that way. And this is, by the way, G.K. Chesterton, I'm always going on about him, one of my favorite British men of letters, has said this about radicals, I think he said revolutionaries versus traditionalists, what he said, which is that it's funny, even in his time when he was writing, progressives were a problem, even back then. He said that the modernists and the faddists and the people who were kind of in that vein are all on the surface. We have all of history to draw from. By we, he was talking about traditionalists, conservatives, right? And I think he was right. So again, the immediate effect of not seeing deeply enough is to blind you. And the other thing is that it does is in the attention economy, where we do have real enemies. All of us, I mean, not just conservatives. I mean, us as people, as citizens, we have real enemies, and they are making war on us. Then not seeing deeply makes you a tool rather than an agent. It makes you an instrument rather than a combatant. You can just be directed in whatever way. I mean, everyone knows about low magic, magic tricks, parlor tricks, what have you. What's the number one method that magicians use to pull off magic tricks? It's misdirection. Misdirection of what? Your attention. Okay? Something is going on beneath the surface, and your attention is being directed to something else that's happening on the surface, something that you can't see. And the net effect of that is that you think someone violated the laws of physics. You think someone made a coin disappear. Everyone quote unquote knows that that those kind of parlor tricks, there's a trick to them. So imagine what happens when you start developing a deep so-called understanding of the world based on the parlor tricks of people who are conjuring, not with kind of cards and coins and rabbits and hats, but with the screens you look at every day, the headlines you look at every day, the tags on tweets that are quote unquote controversial, clickbait videos on YouTube, whatever, right? I mean, you can see right away that if someone pulls back and now they've occupied the commanding heights of all your information and news networks, well, then they can conjure you, can't they? And they can make things seem possible that are not possible, and vice versa. And to you, it looks like, well, to you, it wouldn't even look like magic. It would just look like reality. But it wouldn't be. It'd be all on the surface. So this is why seeing deeply is so important. Because when someone's trying to pull a fast one on you, you want to know.
You could see it.